In 1937, the Marijuana Tax Act was passed and Congress classified and criminalized the cannabis plant on a federal level as a Schedule I drug. During the 1940s, World War II farmers were encouraged to grow hemp for textiles and resources for the war. Farmers who did not comply were fined. And in 1940, the LaGuardia Report was the first cannabis study to be released, and it proved cannabis was not as harmful as the US government portrayed. In 1970, as cannabis grew in popularity, Congress repealed most of the mandatory minimum drug-related sentences. In 1972, the Schaefer Commission, a bipartisan group appointed by President Nixon, considered and determined personal use should be decriminalized. President Nixon rejected these findings. 11 states will soon go on to decriminalize cannabis possession. In 1973, the Drug Enforcement Agency, also known as the DEA, was created by President Nixon to rev up the amp on the war on drugs. In 1974, Tom Forcade founded the countercultural phenomenon High Times magazine. In 1986, the Anti-Drug Abuse Act was passed by President Reagan, hammering down on the war on drugs by declaring mandatory sentences for drug-related crimes. The Solomon-Lautenberg Amendment was passed in 1990. This allows states to impose mandatory driver's license suspensions for persons caught possessing cannabis, even if unrelated to driving. In 1996, California became the first state to legalize medical cannabis with Proposition 215. In 2012, Colorado became the first state to legalize cannabis for adult retail use through their Amendment 64. With states starting to legalize cannabis for adult use, the Cole Memorandum, created by President Obama in 2013, allowed states to implement laws on cannabis without consequences from the federal government. In 2018, with 33 states legalized for medical and adult use, former U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions revoked the Cole Memorandum previously instated in 2013.